is already installed or not. Okay, you can start if someone haven't installed the Python in their machines, they can start installing them. Okay, so please install it. Okay, then next step is whether the installation is done correctly or not, to check whether installation done is correct or not. So for that, go to command line. Okay, so command line you can just go by clicking on start. Okay, and then search for CMD. Okay, so when you search for CMD, command prompt uh, will be popped up, and you can just click on that to open the command prompt. Okay, once command prompt is open, you can just type Python. Okay, then with double icon version, and press enter. So this will give us which version of Python actually is installed on your PC. If it says that the particular command is not recognized, then what you can do is it is actually means that Python is not installed on your system. So if it is installed and still it gives, then that means that variable environment variable is not properly set. That is path variable. To set the path variable, here is the trick. So you can go to the properties. Okay, on a computer you can right click and go to the properties. Uh, okay, uh, and then go to the advanced system settings. Then go to the environment variable, and here you will find a user variable which is called as path. Just click on that path and click on edit. Here, these two, I will just copy them and paste it and enlarge it so that you can view them. Okay. So there should be two paths which should be listed in path variable. If they are not listed, then you can manually include them. Doesn't matter if you are manually including them, still it will work. Both paths are here. So you can see here, these two paths should be there. Okay. So first one, here the main suggests it's my system name. You can see it here, main. It should be your system name here. That is the only change you require. So two paths, these two paths, one is indicating Python where it is been installed, and another one is for scripts where the scripts are installed. So both the paths should be present in that path variable. Of course, they are to be separated by semicolons. Okay. Once the two paths are present, then there will be no problem with the your Python installation. Okay, then click OK and click OK and finish. Now you can use Python. Okay, so again I will going to repeat it. Just download the Python. Please make sure which version you are downloading, whether you are using 32-bit machine, then download 32-bit version, and if you are using 64-bit machine, then download 64-bit version, and then just double click on it, and it will ask for an option of installation. Just click on installation and the steps will automatically follow and installation will be done. Then to verify the installation, just go to the command prompt. To go to the command prompt, click on the start, then click message, you can type on, then CMD. Okay, for 7. So here this is my machine is Windows 10 is bit different. It looks like that. I know, and in Windows 10 you get a search bar here. So in that search bar also you can just type CMD for search, and you will get command prompt icon, and you can just click on that command prompt icon to actually uh, start the command. Once command prompt started, type Python version and press enter to list out this Python version which is installed in your PC. Next, you must also verify whether pip is installed or not. So for that, you can type pip and hyphen capital V. So it will list out the version of the pip which is installed. So when you install Python, pip will automatically get installed. So there is no requirement to install pip separately. Okay. So the Python installation has inbuilt pip. So it will directly uh, tell us the version. So here pip version 19.2.3 is installed for my PC. Okay. Next important thing is you might be, many of you might be wondering, specifically computer science guys might be wondering why we are going to use pip and not Anaconda. So pip and Anaconda, let me first clear that pip and Anaconda are both for installing packages on Python. But Anaconda is different. The Conda actually used to install libraries not just for pip, not just for Python, for other also. So the difference between Conda and pip is that Conda doesn't require any compiler because it uses binaries, not Wheelie or source distribution. Whereas pip uses Wheelie and source distribution, so it requires compiler. And for pip, Python compiler is used. Okay. Conda can install any type of packages like C, C++ package can also be installed by using Conda, whereas pip can be used only for our Python only. Okay. And then there is a built-in environment for Conda. So when you install something with Conda, then the built-in environment will actually install it together. It will generate different environment for each installation. But whereas Python doesn't have any that built-in environment, so if you want to create a new environment, then you have to create new virtual environment for that. And the last and more important is Conda does check for dependency, whereas pip doesn't check for dependency. Okay, so it becomes very easy while using pip for installation on Python. So if you are using multi language source and something more complex, then probably you will require Conda. But if you are using only Python for artificial intelligence, then there is no requirement of actually Conda. So you can just use pip. It's more simpler compared with Conda. Okay. So that's why we have selected only pip and we are not going to go with Conda. And now what I want to show you is how to install libraries using uh, pip. Okay. So it's very simple. For example, if we say that if you want to install NumPy, then just type pip space install. Yeah. So pip space install space NumPy. That is how it is done, and just press enter. And what happens is actually this pip collects or downloads the library directly from the internet. Okay, so here it is downloading NumPy from the internet and it will install it. So it makes sure that whenever you are installing something using pip, then your internet connection is available and you are connected to the internet. If not, then this will create a problem. Okay, so download will not happen and the installation will be stopped abruptly. Okay, so once the NumPy is installed, this is how we can install single package. So just give the single package name or library name and installation will be done. Now, if you want to install multiple packages, multiple libraries together, then that also you can do by using pip space install. So we are going to use pandas. So I am going to install pandas. Also, we are going to use Jupyter Notebooks. So Jupyter Notebook is installed by Jupyter by using a keyword called Jupyter Lab. So library name is Jupyter Lab. Okay. And then we are going to use Scikit library of machine learning for our implementing our machine learning algorithms. Okay. So Scikit learn we are going to use. So I'm going to install scikit-learn also. Remember that for scikit-learn, it's scikit-learn. and then press enter. So this time now all three libraries will be get installed together. So first it is, you can see here that it is downloading Pandas first, then it will download Jupyter Labs, and then it will download Scikit-learn, and then it will install all three at a time. So this way you can also install multiple libraries together with the pip by using pip. Okay, and we are going to use Jupyter Notes as a editor for our Python program. Now Jupyter Notes and other, there are uh, many other editors available for Python. We have selected Jupyter Notes because Jupyter Notes uses a cell in a cell manner. So each cell we can write a code and then execute the cell individually. So it doesn't require to execute complete program, Python program together. Okay, which is very most important when you are doing something with machine learning, because when you use an algorithm in machine learning, it might happen that that algorithm is not working as per requirement. So you are going to change the algorithm. To change the algorithm, now in Jupyter Notes, there is no requirement of completely rewriting the program and then re-executing the complete program, but just you can add an another cell, and to in that another cell you can just write the code for new algorithm, and that new algorithm will only we need to learn, we need to run only that particular algorithm or that particular cell only, and then we can compare both the algorithm results at that singular time itself. Okay, so that helps to manage this machine learning implementation more easily when compared to other editors. So you can use editors like PyCharm or IDL, those which are available with Python. But for that editors, you need to, whenever you modify the program, you need to rerun complete program again, and which might become hectic when we are dealing with our artificial intelligence. Okay, so we don't want to repeatedly do that. That's why we are not going to actually go with those editors, and we will be using Jupyter Notes. Okay, so I hope everyone is with me and everyone actually installing this particular libraries in your machine. Okay, so NumPy is installed. Now we are installing Pandas and as well as uh, our Jupyter Lab and Scikit-learn all together. And you can see that there are many other, not just the three, there are many other also downloading here simultaneously. These are the packages which are dependent packages. So installing those three is not sufficient. Automatically, PIP will also verify what are different other libraries required for those libraries to work correctly, and it will automatically download and install those other libraries also which are not actually mentioned in while we are specifying the command, but it will just download all the required libraries for those libraries to work properly and install them on your machine. Okay, so while it gets installed, I will go with the questionnaires here. Okay, okay. So there are some of them are lagging behind, so we can wait for some time. I'm also going for I request all to please mute their mic. I request all to mute their mic. So I'm going to type the commands on chat box also. So you can verify whether the commands you can also verify using those commands which I type on chat box. Okay. So first time when you are doing the installation, make sure that it will require some time for everything to get installed and everything to get set up. Okay. So here also commands. So for Python verification, after installation of Python, if you want to verify whether the Python has been installed correctly or not, then in command prompt, just type Python and then double icon, version, and then press enter. It will show which version of Python you are actually using. Okay. And to verify whether pip has been installed correctly or not, just type pip and then a single icon and then capital V here and press enter. Then it will get installed. Pip will get installed. Okay. Sorry, pip will it will show the version number of pip which is already been installed, and pip will get installed with Python when we install Python together. Okay. Then for installation of packages, you can type pip install and then package name. For example, NumPy, if you want to install, then you can use NumPy. And if you want to install multiple packages together, then give a space between those package names. For example, NumPy space Panda space Jupyter Lab space Scikit-learn and so on. Okay, so this way you can use, you can actually do the installation. Okay. Once the installation is done, we will go to the Jupyter Notes for further processing. Okay. So Jupyter Notes, to actually start the Jupyter Notes, you need to just type Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter space notebook on your command prompt and press enter. Jupyter Notebook will be started. Okay. So it will just start the Jupyter Notebook. We will wait for some time for the installation to be done on all the participant machine. Okay. Then we will go with our NumPy and Pandas. Today we'll just introduce you with NumPy and Pandas. What is this NumPy and what is Pandas? So NumPy is basically suited for numerical computation. So in theory part, we already told you that for machine learning algorithms, we require more mathematical also. So NumPy is the package which actually does the numerical computation for the Python. So it calculates mean, median, ranges, as well as complex mathematical. Also, like it can be used for trigonometry, for probability, and different mathematical equations or formulas can be implemented using NumPy, even matrices and all this. Okay, and the NumPy library can also be integrated with C, C++. Okay, and remember that in Python, the indexing starts with 0. Unlike in R, where indexing starts with 1. So here when we use Python, remember that indexing will be starting with 0. Okay. So now we will start Jupyter Notebook. So for that, you have to just type Jupyter space notebook and then press enter. Jupyter Notebook will start within a few seconds, okay? And it will be opened in your browser, whichever browser is your default browser. So that in that default browser, the notebook will open like this, okay? So here the Jupyter Notebook has opened, and it will list out all the uh, 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 directories which are present at that particular locations. Okay. So once the Jupyter Notebook is started, you can start writing the programs and creating new files for the program. Just clicking on new files here. You can, I think you can all see this new here. Okay. On the right side of this Jupyter window. Okay. So click on that new and then click on Python here listed, because Python 3 is installed now on your PC, so it will just show Python 3. If you have multiple languages installed on your PC, then it can support multiple languages also, like it can be used for R language. So Jupyter Notes can also be used for R language. Okay, so just click on this Python 3, new window will be open, and that will be for our programming purpose. Okay. So this is how the new file in Jupyter Notebook, or most commonly new notebook in Jupyter looks like. Okay. So here you can see untitled 2 for me here given. So you can change this to any name you like. It is just the file name you are actually specifying here. So just going to give some file name to this particular thing. Okay, and just click on rename. So this notebook now will be saved with a name basic numpy pandas. Okay, and you can see there is only one cell listed here. So just by clicking on plus, you can insert other cells, and this is the advantage of Jupyter. Jupyter works with cells. So each cell has to be executed separately, and there is no requirement to go back and do again and again. Okay. So first thing what we will do is we have installed NumPy and Panda. So we are going to import NumPy and Panda into our Python. Okay. So for that type, I'm just going to enlarge this so that everyone can see it, everyone, it becomes visible to everyone. Now I think it is visible to everyone. So here just type import numpy. Okay. So if you just type import numpy, then every time when you are using numpy formulas or numpy inbuilt functions, then you have to type complete numpy. Instead of that, we are going to just give an alias to this as np. So instead of using numpy each and every time, we are going to use just np. Okay, and then also we are going to import pandas, and we will give alias as pd. Okay, so numpy and pandas, for numpy we are going to use np, and for pandas we are going to use pd. And then you can press shift enter to execute this cell, or you can press this run button here. So after clicking here, you can press run button here to execute it. It's become very easy to press shift enter. So I'm going to press shift enter each and every time when I want to execute a cell. Now this cell is executed. So no need to worry about this cell anymore. NumPy and pandas have been imported. Now in another cells, you can start checking whether NumPy is imported or not, whether pandas has been imported or not. So for that, I can just type np dot double hyphen, okay, version, and again close it by double hyphen, and I'm going to execute by pressing shift enter. So it gives the version of NumPy which is imported, that is 1.18.5. Okay, so this is the version which we are going to use. Now the advantages of NumPy is that we can use it for creating different arrays and list, okay, as well as matrices. So for computer science and IT guys, you already know how to create list and arrays in Python, but for the people who are from other branches like mechanical, civil and electrical, they might not know about it. So I'm just going to briefly describe that particular part. Okay. So for example, let's say that we want to create a list of numbers from 0 to 9. So in Python, it can be easily done by using a simple line of code that is, let's say, L equal to. So L here is a variable name and list. So we are creating a list. So list is a keyword which helps in creating list. Range 10. So we want 0 to 9. So 10 will not be included. Whenever we give a keyword range, so it will start from 0 until the number which we have specified. Here we specified 10. So 10 will not be included. So from 0 to 9 we will get. Okay. And you can actually print L value by typing print and in bracket L, or you can just type L. In Jupyter, if you just type a variable name, then it will print out the value of that variable. Okay. So here also you can see the advantages of Python over Java, that I am not defining L. I am neither defining which type of data type this L will hold. Okay. I'm just giving the values to this L, variable L, and it will automatically take that value and it will get those data type which is mentioned here. Okay. And if you press shift enter to execute it, this value of L will be displayed in list. Okay. So you can either use print or you can just type this variable name and just press enter. You will get the values which is stored in that variable. Okay. Another important thing about Python is typecasting. Okay. So you can just directly convert this. Now these are integers, right? So this type for this are integers. Now I can directly convert it into strings just by simple giving it str. Okay, keyword str. Okay, in bracket C, where C is everything in L. Okay. So when you execute this, now you can see that all integers are converted to string. So string are indicated by single quotes and integers without quotes. Okay. So here you can see all these particular integers are converted to string. So simply from one type to another type, it is easily done in Python, and it is not so easy in case of Java. Okay. Now let's talk about NumPy. This is the advantage of Python, but now we talk about this NumPy. Okay, so NumPy, first we'll create an array, okay, with the using NumPy, and I'm just going to create array with the value zeros. So we can use, so now we are using NumPy. So it is important to give NP, okay, a function from NumPy library. So the thing which we have imported here as NP. So we are going to use this NP here. Okay. Then give the function name. Here we are going to give the values zeros to all. So I am using zeros function, and in bracket how many zeros, how many values do you require in this array. Let's say we require 10, okay, and specify which data type. So for whenever you are using NumPy to create array, you have to specify the data type. Okay, remember that. So data type here, let's say we are creating an integer data type. Okay, so when you press shift enter, it will restore that array, that is all zeros. Okay, so that way we can use NumPy to create arrays. It can also be used to create matrices. Okay, let's say now I'm going to create a matrix using 1. So all the element in the matrix will be 1. Okay, value with 1. And double bracket, in bracket you give the size of the matrix. Let's say 3 rows by 4 columns. Okay, so 3 comma 4, and then again mention the data type by using d type. And let's say here I'm going to use float. Okay, data type float, and then press enter. So you can see the difference between int and float also. For integer, there is no dot mentioned here. So for integer, decimal point will not be considered, whereas for float, decimal points will be considered. Okay, that is difference between int and float. And you can see this has created a matrix of 3 rows and 4 columns with all values 1. Okay. So that's how we can use to create even matrices, and of course we can use to create random values and all those by using different this also. So let's say that we want to create a random value matrix. Okay, so then you can just use a random function from NumPy. Okay, random, and we are going to use normal distribution. Okay, so values from 0 to 1, let's say, and we need array, let's say now 3 by 3 array. Okay, that is matrix of 3 rows and 3 columns, and then execute this. So you can see here that it gave us a 3 by 3 this matrix, that is 3 rows and 3 columns with normal random numbers for each element in this matrix. Okay, so this way also we can create random matrices, and this matrices and all these are very important in case of machine learning, because the data which we are going to use will be in form of this tabular. So I think everyone uses Excel, Microsoft Excel. So in Microsoft Excel, how you store the data? You store it in tabular form. So same way, in machine learning algorithm, all the data are in tabular form itself. So tabular form means it's a type of matrix itself. So we are going to very much use these matrices in our machine learning while implementing our this machine learning algorithms. Okay. So you must be very familiar with this machine learning algorithms. Okay. You must be very familiar with matrices. Okay. One more advantages of this is, let's say that we are going to create two matrices, and let's say we are going to multiply them. And now I am going to create these two matrices by using random with integers, not this decimal numbers. We are going to use only integers. Okay. So let's say the first matrix is y1. Okay. So from NumPy library, random. Okay. And from random, we want only integers. So rand int is the function which you want to use. Okay. Then I want maximum of 10 value. So I will give it as 10. Then I want size. Let's say I want size of, let's say 3 by 3 matrix itself. Okay. So 3 comma 3. Okay. And then I'm going to take another matrix similarly. Random, randing. Okay. Again, maximum up to 10. And again, I'm going to take the same size 3 by 3. So matrix multiplication can be done. Okay. Now, Let's see what happens if I multiply directly matrix 1 with matrix second, that is y1 with y2. Okay. So you can see, let me also print matrix values also. So y1, and also I will print y2. So here you can see how the multiplication has been done. So you can see that when you multiply first element 4 with the first element of second matrix 8, you get answer 32. And 6 with 0, you get answer 0. So it is not a matrix multiplication, but it is element-wise multiplication. So in Python, when you directly multiply two matrices, remember that element multiplication will be done, not matrix multiplication. To do matrix multiplication, what you need to do is you require NumPy. So np.matmul is the function which actually does matrix multiplication. To this, you can just give both matrices as input. Okay. So here now you can see this is actually our matrix multiplication, that is rows multiplied with columns. First row 4 multiplied by 8 plus 6 multiplied by 7 plus 7 multiplied by 4, we will get 102. So matrix multiplication has been done here. So remember that whenever we are using mathematical terms, we definitely will require NumPy library for our implementation purpose. Okay. Not just matrices, it also can implement trigonometry and complex probabilities, distributions, complex formulas of mathematics and all those. We are not going to go with all those. You can just at home, you can just practice it. Okay. But there are many mathematical formulas which can be implemented using NumPy. Okay. Another important thing in NumPy is the indexing. Okay. So we'll see how the indexing is done actually in this matrix, in this NumPy. Okay. So now we have y1 and y2 with 3 by 3 matrix. So I'm just going to show you how it can be done. So if you want from y1 row 0 and column 0 value, then just give 0 comma 0 and press enter. So first element from y1 will be printed out. Okay, so this way you can just have each element by indexing. And of course, Python can support negative indexing also, and negative indexing -1 is the last element. Okay, so -1 comma -1 will give us the last element of the matrix, that is for 3 by 3 it is third row and third column. Okay, so here you can see third row and third column, the element is 9, which is printed here. Okay, so negative indexing is also supported by Python, and this way we can actually use that. Okay, and of course it can also be used as a slicer also. So I can just use like this, something like this. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to get this particular value, okay, as a matrix itself. Okay, so here 4 becomes matrix, just one element, just that particular matrix. And if you want multiple elements, then you can also increase that size. Okay, so now you have 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, from 3 by 3 you have created 2 by 2, which is just subset of this particular matrix. So you can see 4 6 6 0. Okay, and that is here given 4 6 6 0. So this way you can also slice the arrays in Python. Okay, so that is how it is done about NumPy. Okay, so this is what about NumPy we are going to do. There are this indexing and slicing are very much useful in machine learning, because in machine learning data is in type of arrays. Okay, multi-dimensional arrays like matrices, and in that you need to decide which particular column you require and which you don't require, and which rows you require and which rows you don't require. At that time indexing and slicing are very much useful. So I just gave you an introduction of how imaging and slicing is done. Now let's go with pandas. What is pandas and why we require pandas? The first important thing is the pandas is built on NumPy. So if you want to use pandas, then of course you need to install NumPy also. Without NumPy, pandas will not get installed. Okay, and then the advantage of pandas is it handles the tabular data. So if you have an Excel sheet, you can import them into your Python program directly using Python. Okay, by directly using pandas, or if you have a .csv file, then that also can be done. So from our mail, we have given you 3 data set. All 3 data set are in a file format that is .csv. So to import that .csv data into Python, we are going to require pandas library. Okay, and pandas library also has many other advantages also. Let's see what are those. Okay. Now, for to do that, what I want is I want that particular data frame. So in pandas, whenever we import the data, it is called as data frame. Okay. So first I am going to create, I am not going to import the data frame here today, but I am going to create data frame using pandas library. So I'm just going to write a code to create a data frame. Okay. So data frame is the function in pandas, and in data frame DNFR capital, which helps to create the data frame. In bracket, in flower bracket, the first thing is the column name. So I want first column as let's say we are going to create a data frame with let's say country, some country names. Okay, so first thing is the column name, column, then the values in that particular column name in square bracket. Let's say some country name like Russia, let's say India, let's say China, let's say USA, and let's take one more, that is let's say UK. Okay, so this is the first column with the name, column name as country, and then it has 5 entries in that column. Okay, and now let's say we create another column with rank, with column name as rank, and this rank will be of integer type. Let's give some rank. Let's say India rank 121, India rank 1, China rank 67, US rank 7, and okay, let's say 9. Okay, and these are the ranks given it. So now I'm going to just close it. Okay, so let's close it with the flower bracket and then normal bracket. Okay, so this creates the data frame, and now I'm going to print this data frame. So here you can see that what pandas did is it has imported the data in a tabular form. So this is the importance of pandas. So you can use this tabular data directly as the tabular data itself inside the Python. And most of the machine learning algorithm data set are nothing but tabular form data set, and that's why here we require that tabular form to be kept. Apart from that, pandas also, once you get the data in a particular variable, so here you can see the variable name is data. Okay, for this particular table. Now you can use this data to also list out different properties. For example, if you want to get different things from this data set, then just use describe, described, describe function, and it is going to describe all numerical. So here rank has a numerical column, rank. So only numerical column, everything is defined. So for example, here count is 5. Okay, so there are 5 entries in this particular column with a mean value of 41, standard deviation of 52.09, minimum value is 1, the rank 1 is given to India, and then there is a 25%, 50%, and 75% after that maximum value. Okay, so it gives different statistical information of numerical data, and this also can be used to even give statistical information of non-numerical data also. Just type the same thing. Okay, so data, our variable data dot describe, and in brackets now you just include all. So it will include all the columns, whether the column is numerical or non-numerical, doesn't. Okay, so you can see here it included both the column, country, and rank. And you can see there are different statistical information for different this numerical columns and non-numerical. For example, count in both of them are mentioned as 5 and 5 because both has 5 entries each. Okay, whereas for non-numerical it has a statistical unique. So this particular column has 5 unique values. As we know, there are 5 different country names, so 5 unique values. It has top and frequency also. So each frequency means each unique value in this particular column is only one time in that column. Okay, and this non-numerical statistic information are not included into numerical, whereas numerical statistics information is not included into non-numerical statistical information. Okay, so pandas is very important in knowing the statistical information of the data set also. Okay, then you can actually use this pandas to even select particular row or particular column and so on. That is slicing, because it is built on NumPy itself. So slicing and indexing can also be done in pandas. Okay. Only the difference is in pandas, when you mentioned a particular value for indexing, then it takes as columns. For example, if you want a column only country, okay, we have country and rank. So I am just selecting country. You can give it this way, data and country. So column has to be provided with names, and that names will be used as indexing for our pandas data frame. Okay. So when you press enter, it will just list off those 5 country names. Okay. Same way, if you just want rank, then just give it that column name. So you can select each column separately. Okay. So each column from the that data frame, you can select it separately. The next important thing is how we can select the rows. Okay. So to select the rows, remember that you cannot, there is indexing like 0, 1, 2, 3. So if you just give like directly like NumPy, if you want to do it, let's say you want to select row number 1, if you do directly, it won't support it. Okay, so it will just show that there is no variable, no particular index with the value 1. Okay, because whenever you give it directly, it is actually looking for column name. I said here, so when you give it directly, it looks for column name, not row. For row, what you need to do is you need to actually lock it. So dot lock. After lock, if you give the row number, then that particular row number will be selected. So here it is selected that row number 1 has country value as India and rank value as 1. So when you are selecting a row, remember that you need to use dot lock. Okay, and when you are using the column, just you can do is use that column name directly. Another way of using column name, I prefer this way of using, because square bracket and then you can have multiple columns together. So to select multiple columns, like if you just go with a comma, country, okay, then sorry, C capital, not capital. Okay, so when you are using double multiple columns and give double square bracket. Okay, so it will just select multiple columns together. not just single column, it can also select double column or multiple columns together when you are using this bracket notation. Or you can use another notation like if you want to select just a single column like dot. So if you just say dot rank, okay, then also it will just select that particular column only. Okay. Another advantage of using square bracket is that it will give the output, or it will get the values in terms of tabular form itself. Whereas this, when you use dot, it is nothing but the list. Okay. So when you, it's a array. So it's not in a tabular form, whereas you get here output in a tabular form. That's why I mostly prefer to use square brackets instead of dot. Okay. So that is another advantage. Okay. So this way you can use pandas for actually selecting different rows, different columns from a data frame, okay, which you have imported for your machine learning. Okay. And you can do this way also. For example, if you want to have this first row, okay. So I'm going to use block to select first row, and then if I want to select this only rank, then comma rank can be given to select that. Okay, so it will just select that particular rank value. Okay, so that way also it can be done. It is important if you want to change some content from the data frame. For example, if I want to change the country name, let's say I want to change USA into some another country name, so I can just data, you can directly dot log. Okay. USA, let's say USA is uh, indexed 3. So I'm going to take that 3, comma, then country. Okay. Now I can change the value USA to another country, like let's say Japan. Okay. So now in the data frame, you can see that the country USA is changed to Japan. Okay, so that way also you can use to change the value of your data if you want to modify your value. Okay, so this is also can be done. And remember one more most important thing of pandas data frame is, let's say that I want to make a copy of this. Okay, so let's say data 1 equal to data. So when you do this, okay, what happens is, it actually, remember that it doesn't makes a copy. Okay, it just makes a reference to the original data. So if you make a change, okay, let's say I want to again change that particular Japan into USA. Okay, so now I'm going to change it to back to USA. So you can see in data 1, it has changed to USA. And if you look into data again, here also it has been changed to USA. Okay. So it means that data 1 is not a separate data set. It is just the reference to the original data set, which is given a variable named data. Okay. So remember that when you are using just equals to make a copy, it doesn't makes a copy, it actually makes a reference. To make a copy, use a pandas function copy. Okay. So if I want to make a copy of original data, then I have to use copy. Okay. So here data 2 is copied. Now if I do the same thing and change USA to Japan again in data, let's say in data 2. Country. Now I'm going to change it to Japan. Okay. So you can see that in data 2, it has been changed to Japan. But when we go to original data set, it is still USA. So now this data 2 is not a reference to the original data set, but it is completely new copy of this particular data set. Okay, original data set. So that how we can create a new copy. Now you can see why why Jupyter Notebooks is important. So we have executed each cell at a single time. So once I created a data frame, I need not worry about creating it again. That means in machine language, once you have imported the data, then you need not worry of importing the data again and again. Okay. Once you are imported the data into your Python using this Jupyter notebook, then simply you can use it into another set. Okay, and you can do different modification to it. Okay, and in machine learning this is important because with the different statistical information, you might be required to perform different operation on it. So you need to actually visualize what statistical information particular data set has, a particular column has, and based on that particular column statistical information, you might be required to modify that particular column into something new. Okay, so you cannot do it again. You cannot print the statistical information, go back to again complete new program, complete program, modify that program and rerun complete program again. It's just a waste of time. Okay, so having the cells makes it much easier for understanding data as well as making modification to data and then using that data for machine learning algorithms. Okay, that's why Panda, this Jupyter notebook is very much popular with data scientists and machine learning algorithms. Okay, so this is all the basic stuff about NumPy and Pandas. We are going to stop here for today. Of course, you can do more of the practice using this NumPy and Pandas now. Okay. And if you have any doubts, you can please ask me now.